So welcome everybody to the February 22nd architecture meeting. Let me share my screen. Kind of where we left off last week was we were looking at the UI UX design, and we've narrowed down on a high level structure. The one remaining bit that I came across over the last couple days um, has to do with how to navigate the sheer amount of versions that we have. But before I do that, let me just double check something. By chance, I've put our uh, GitHub Actions into an infinite loop. So let me just fix that real quick. Let me merge this and see if it'll. So if you see me stop all of a sudden sharing, it's because I'm going out and canceling a bunch of jobs. All right. So where's share? Share. Zoom. Okay. So this is the current version that we have out there running. And one of the things that is bad with this current version is the list view. If I take off the filter, we'll see that we have a crazy number of versions for every single component. And these have been just being created the last couple days from the Renovate bot going out and updating our package versions. Like I said, we deploy probably each service gets deployed at least once a day, if not multiple times a day. So that's going to that just generates a lot of lists that we have to deal with. Oops, wrong one. I want a different version. So navigating these is kind of the challenge that I want to talk about today. We do know that we have like a base starting point. When we were talking last week with the boxes, that we'll be able to know that we have like a summary card that we can work from. Now, from the summary card, we're going to drill into that and get more of the details. And I was kind of envisioning when we drill into the summary card that we should be able to choose which version that we want to work with. Now, one of the things when we, let me just bring up a summary card. So, whoops, so people know what I'm talking about. So this is kind of the style that we're going to be following along. Is we have our summary. We have break out the detail again, and then we go into the gory details for each box. So one of the things I was thinking of that we could do at this highest level, at the summary card level, when we drill into it, we could either have a drop down or some sort of filter that would allow us which version that we want to work with. And obviously we would go ahead and kind of pre-populate it with the latest one, the data for the latest one for people to navigate to. The other, so we could add like a drop down or some sort of filter box. And maybe in the filter box, say, give me the last 5, the last 10, something like that at that level. One of the other sites that we looked at last week, they brought back the top 5, and then they gave a list of, say, give me more button on that front, if that makes sense. Another option is to do a timeline. So we can do another box here that would have a timeline. So basically, in the past year, here of all the when all the component versions were created, and you can go pick based on the timeline which one you want to go drill into. So those are just a couple of the ideas. I just want to throw out there the problem and any solutions that you folks may have. Does
Uh,
that make sense what the problem is, first off?
Kinda. Have we talked to any CISOs or people like them about how they might want to use what Ortelius does?
The closest one that would have been Kate, with her perspective um, at that level, and we are going to be uh, presenting Ortelius to the metrics and metadata group when they have their meeting coming up down the road. We're going to get on their calendar, so we're going to get some of their feedback as well, hopefully.
Okay,
So, but
I
to
was
answer your
thinking,
question right now we don't have a lot of in-depth CISO input.
well, maybe it should be possible to get such. If you want, um, I can talk to you about, thoughts of people we could go poke.
Okay, that will work.
Yeah, just sometime or other, let's get together and talk about that.
Yep. Um, oh, here on this one they do have a kind of a time graph as well. So this looks like picking a day and looking at it at that point. But the time graph that we're going to be dealing with is going to be multiple things happening on a day. This product here goes out and scans once a day at that level. So because we're monitoring updates, we like I said, we get several updates a day for the same component. And then this same problem occurs up at the application level. So every time you make a change, you get a new version of the application that could be deployed. So this data that these versions that we're gathering. Um, this is just from 5 days, the number of versions that we create. Now, one of the fun things is um, we're able to actually take the data, and I kind of showed this earlier on another meeting, and compare what's happened. So the ability to select two different versions and do a compare is kind of a requirement too. So this is where I can see what's changed and the CVEs that are showing up. So here's actually a new CVE that just came about in the last hour with crypto. So anybody have any preferences? If we know we're going to kind of go like with this style, if a drop down or a table that says give me more, or some sort of filter box, which one would are the preferences for navigating the information? Or like I said, the timeline version that you can click on. Any comments? The one thing I was thinking about on a drop down um, that can be a little difficult. So if we look at one of these drop downs, so if we go to the version, um, the list can get pretty long as well. So I don't think the drop down is as nice as like a little table that gives us a top five, and I can say give me more to find what I'm looking for. So my preference would be a table over a drop down.
Is that like a fuzzy type of search?
A fuzzy type of search would be where you would just type in whatever you want
Hmm.
into like a search bar, and then the fuzzy type of search would look at all. Let's say I wanted to look at some keyword, it would bring me back to any that keyword that matches in a domain, an environment, a version number. That would be more of a fuzzy type of search.
So it's a bit limited because you'd have to know what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, that's the tricky part with that's the one thing I don't like with the fuzzy search. So if you look at who does that, I think it's Docker Hub.
Works great in Kubernetes clusters, but not so great on a front end like this.
Yeah, so let me see if this one has a fuzzy search. And it's kind of annoying because you have to know what you're looking for. Yeah. So, oh, I know it was the npm one. npm. Yeah, here it is. So if you go to a like the npm one, there's no way to kind of get in and start searching. So I have to know what I'm looking for. Maybe I'll put in log4j. So I have to have some starting point for the fuzzy search, and then it gives me the list. But instead of on their homepage, instead of giving me the most popular, the most um, the ones that apply to Azure versus AWS, for example, those filters aren't particularly there on the way they do the npm. Because this one's annoying because let's say I want to look for HTTP requests. It it really doesn't give me the right stuff to help me find what I'm looking for at this level. So that's a fuzzy search that I don't think works. Um, if you look at the artifact hub, I think this one may have more of the filter box, if I remember. So this one has kind of the filter on the side, giving you some high level navigation. So they have this filter thing that we could do as well. The problem with this is you kind of have to know about how somebody was thinking that created the filters. So that kind of clarified, Sasha?
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah, between a fuzzy search and a filter search.
Yeah, exactly.
Thus, we have to remove the like renovate because it's creating a
Let me
lot of like
see.
tags.
Let me see if it's going in a loop again. I think I fixed it before the meeting. Yeah, looks like it's fixed. Before you could see it was going in a loop and generating one every minute. It just went crazy.
Yeah, we can remove renovate also and like create a
It's actually in the just the update. There's a dispatch event that happened. Sorry for taking the diversion. Let me just fix this one repo.
It's fine.
There's two repos that are affected by it. It's the ones that generate the main charts. I just gotta tell it to bring over the latest. Tell Renovate to run and pull in the latest workflow. That will get that pull request out there. So that's a filter idea. Like we said, we looked at the fuzzy search idea. I'm not a big fan of the fuzzy search. The filter one, I think we can make work if we can break down. One of the nice things with this is when we look at the different categories, you could filter on like repository name, you could filter on license, best practice, whatever you want to filter on. Each one of these high level boxes we can put into the filter at this level. So I think with the filters we can make that work, but it's one of those that do we feel that's a good navigation technique. And filters may work really well at the application level. Being able to filter in on a certain set of applications that you may want to look at, and that may come into play, like Tony said, with the CISO officer wanting to navigate based on filters.
That
but
would
when
be,
we're
sorry,
Yep.
would that be a microservice, right? You'd be talking about microservice here.
So yeah, you could filter on a microservice as well.
Okay. Is
So
that
at
what
the
this is? Yeah.
application level, because they contain microservices, we can filter on that.
Yeah, so you know your application, so that's easy to find. You know where to go there. Then when you filter, you want to filter on the microservice, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Other filters at the application level, you may want to filter on a particular CVE or a particular technique that is exposed. So you want to say, give me all the applications that have CVEs that do a cross-site exposure, cross-origin hijack, for example. So you could do that filter at that level. So I think maybe we have to split this two ways. At the application level, we do the filtering, and then at the component level, when you go into a component, that you actually list, kind of like we have here, when you go into a particular component, that you're going to have a table with the versions that you want to navigate through, starting with, let's say, like the top 5 or the top most recent.
So this dashboard, will there be like something that maybe highlights which microservices have the worst behaving ones with the worst CVEs?
Yep. I think at the highest level, if we go back,
would it pull out something like from one of the microservices or a couple microservices? So you've got 100 microservices. It'll take the top. It finds the ones that have got, I don't know, a red blob next to them. I don't know. So they've been somehow tagged, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've got the highest, worst, most vulnerable CVEs, and it's immediately available, right? Without even having to search, right?
Yep. And that would be
cool.
this high-level filter that we would want to say.
So you could click there.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, there's the coloring. Okay, cool. I get it now. Okay, I see. That's cool. It's very cool.
So Percy has a C rating at that level. And other things we could do, because we have, and part of the filtering is we have the viewpoint from a domain, which is like a CISO officer wanting to look at, give me the score for the CDF or the CNCF. Give me the score for all the projects in the CNCF. Give me the score for everything that's been deployed to Artifactory, for example, as an environment, or give me everything that's been deployed to this Kubernetes cluster as another example. So we have the environments, we have domains, we have applications, and I think there's one other I can't think of off the top of my head. So we have a couple different ways to navigate the data, and I think we could build that into the high level filters at the dashboard level.
Hmm.
And of course, there as part of that, we'll need to do some reporting as well. So beyond, well, I think the reporting may come in conjunction with the filters. So maybe after you filter everything, you go to a menu item and says generate a CVE report or generate an SBOM report. That would take everything that's listed and pull it together into a single report that could be exported. Probably just PDF to start with because that's easy. And then follow on with like a CSV for exporting this to Excel.
Sounds good. So I'm going to ask a dumb question now. What is that Clo monitor? Is that actually an application or is that actually your design?
This is an application that was written by the Apache Foundation.
Okay. And you're going to interface that over that kind of idea? Is that the idea?
I have to
Or do you...
see if you go to the I think there's some data that we can pull in. Like we're always looking for data to capture. Let me look at the docs here. I can't remember where the repo is. There it is, Clo Monitor repository. So it looks like it's under the CNCF. But what they do is, I think this is going to be another data source that we can pull in, because one of the things that it does, if I can find it, I found it at one point. So it has these checks, and the checks run, and some of the checks that it can look for. Let's see if it has it here. Yeah. So these are the checks that it will run to see if you have a change log documentation, if you have a contributor's documentation, if what your licenses are, your best practices, community, if it has a code of conduct, a governance doc, a roadmap doc, and based on each one of these, it will give you, it will determine the score. Because it's going out and gathering information for us, we don't have to go out and do it. We don't have to go out and start running scans against repositories. I think we can go ahead and let them go off and do all the checking, and we just consume the data.
Yeah,
Did that clarify that, Sasha?
Yeah. Sorry, I was pretty asleep when you were explaining it.
No problem. And these things will keep on aggregating together into. So because these run at a per repo basis, or a GitHub org basis, like Ortelius being an org in there, we can do the aggregation and associate that information to a particular version of a component.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So basically that data will suck in and it'll become another box inside of Ortelius or table.
Yeah. Or table, yeah. That's very nice.
So that's where that data will go. So we don't have to go out and do it ourselves. If we can just ingest it, like you said, Sasha, we're the vacuum cleaner of the open source
Sorry.
world.
Oh, sorry, Steve, for the appliance reference.
No problem. And does anybody know if that whole term appliance is still popular? I know
Yeah, it's
IBM
true.
IBM went through this whole appliance pitch for a while.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
true, right? Especially when
appliance people tend to think of as having a physical as well as virtual component.
Mm.
So like a pre-built firewall or a database engine that's all one in a box. You see
Okay.
some of those around.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure if that style has fallen out of popularity.
yeah, almost like also I also saw it as like it's got like a very watered down mini OS on it, like normally Linux, right? That's like super watered down, right?
Yeah, and I guess appliance have kind of morphed into IoT.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, almost like my NAS is maybe an appliance that I have here, my Synology, right? Because it's got
Yeah,
this very minimal Linux installation on.
right. All right, so I'm going to put together a mock-up of what we talked about and uh, get that circulated around so we can just make sure we're all on the same page when we go to do the implementation. So that I'll put that on my to-do list. Hopefully I'll get it done by next week.
That looks good, eh?
We're getting there. I think that was one of the last things that when I started diving into what we talked about and making sure that we could navigate things, that we had a lot of versions to deal with, and I think we have a solution now to kind of address it. We'll give it a go and see how things pan out on that front. I think we may still need some high level navigation uh, when folks start using it to get everything, the landing page and stuff like that looking good. Arvin, what did you throw into the chat here?
Can you look is like dashboard part? It has different dashboard for the SRE, for the VP of engineering.
Yep,
We can take idea from that.
Yeah,
Go
it's
to
actually a
the
great dashboard. Alvin,
yeah,
that
go
you
to the
posted that in there.
dashboard.
yeah. So the question would be, this is kind of their implementation of the filtering. I think it's not loading.
Yeah, I can share my screen.
I got it. It finally loaded.
Yeah, just like go to SRE or security. They all have different type of.
Okay. Yeah, it's thinking about it. Yeah. So that's what I was saying. On the landing page, we may need to do something like this to kind of get your persona to the right place for the data.
Yeah, and in the bottom they have like all the critical stuff. If you scroll down, they are giving the details also.
Right.
Is it a weird idea to filter by persona? Like, pre-set up filters that you have.
No, that's a
based on a
great idea.
persona.
I think that's a great idea to filter by persona.
Oh,
And the right
thanks,
side,
Steve.
they have the CV stuff.
Right.
We can copy that whole part.
Yeah.
Like I'm a
And
DevOps
the
engineer. Yeah.
SRE one
Example.
is interesting because they are also like giving a graph for the Grafana also, and they have like put it in a very nice way.
Right. This is on your to-do list, Arvin. One of your issues that yours was to
I
figure
have
out how we can
already
bring in the open
created.
telemetry.
I have already created a demo, like because Port is a IDP Internet Developer Platform tool, so I have something to show you.
Nice one.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Alvin's been doing some cool stuff with that dashboard.
Yeah, Grafana is loading
Yeah.
because it will like create a scroll. Yeah, the scroll is available. Then you can scroll on the dashboard.
Let me see if I can grab it.
And in the top right of that Grafana dashboard, if you click on it, it will like take the whole page. So
Right.
like it's customizable.
Oh, I see. It pops it up into a full page.
Uh,
That's an interesting idea to do that. Expand out.
Mm.
yeah, and
It's nicely
We'll have
laid
to,
out, right?
we'll have to keep that one in the back of our, if we need to go that route to get more real estate.
yeah, we are making like Port is like our competitor right now because it's also support my microservice catalog and
Yeah.
it gives detail about that stuff. So it's like our
Mm.
competitor. We have to like check what else we can do or what idea we can like get from this.
Right. Exactly. That's a good find.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
I have created a demo. Can I share my screen?
Yep.
That's my screen as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Ports is a IDP, Internet Developer Platform. We click on blueprint, and we can create a blueprint. So I created a S3 bucket blueprint. If we click on it, it has two properties that we can take input, bucket ACL and bucket name. And I have created two actions in it. One is the create S3 bucket, one is the delete S3 bucket. And I haven't given a scorecard in it. So if you like go to create, edit, these are the name, what are the input. We are taking only two input, bucket name, bucket ACL. We can click on new input and we can like post anything in it. In the backend is the main thing. I am running the GitHub action in the background. So the GitHub action is my repository. It's my organization is repository, and I am running this cloud formation template.yaml to create the S3 bucket. Now we have to create a bucket. So now we will go to self-service. It is the action. We click on it. Give me any name. Demo Arvind test. So it's like the my bucket name is currently private, public, or authenticated. I put it private. I executed it. So it's running here. In the meantime, let me show you the GitHub action, which because it will take 1-2 minutes to
Yep.
create the bucket. Then the port, it is my repo in the workflows. It is the cloud formation template that I am using to create S3 bucket, and it's only this. It is taking some inputs, bucket name, bucket ACL, and port payload. It's for like injecting data to the port UI for that. And
Right.
we have only this jobs. The first one is configure AWS credential. So I have like put my credential in the repo. It is the deploy to AWS Cloud Formation action. Is taking bucket name from the input, which we pass in the port UI, and it is overriding the bucket name, bucket ACL. And in the last part, we are injecting this whole data to the port UI. So like we can monitor it also. So it's their GitHub action. So let me see. It's taking a little bit time.
So basically, what could you do? Could you
Yeah,
have some sort of
is
clever
is
mechanism to say
done.
remediate, like
So
until it
yeah,
shows
the
you like,
name is demo Urban test and the some
oh,
numbers.
cool.
It's my S3 bucket. Let me reload this. And it's demo Urban test. It is created. The bucket
Oh,
is ready.
that's so cool.
And when we go to catalog, we click on S3 buckets. The first one I created before, it is the new one that I created just. Click on it.
Nice.
Yeah,
It
it's cool.
contains all the data. It runs successful and audit log. The action is creating that stuff. Now, now like we created the environment, we do all our stuff. Now we want to delete our data. We go to the builder. This is the same action. I will use the delete S3 bucket. So I will go to the self-service. This is the delete action. I have to click on it, and yeah, I have to copy the name. Delete. Now it's running another GitHub action which is like deleting the S3 bucket, and the GitHub action that it is using is this one, S3 bucket delete.yml. It's taking some inputs, and in the job it is configuring the AWS is for deleting the S3 bucket, and this one is like it is in the catalog. You see the name of S3 bucket in the catalog, so it's like removing that S3 bucket from the catalog. If you don't do that, then what will happen, like they both will remain. So it's like removed because the build is successful. If I go to there and I reload this, my bucket is gone, and the only magic are there here is in our action, which is like keep triggering. And for like creating the S3 bucket, I created one extra file s3.yml, which is like the cloud formation template for creating the bucket. So that's the whole demo.
Nice.
Do you have any questions for me?
Um, were the GitHub actions pre-populated, or did you have to create them from scratch?
I created them from the scratch,
Okay.
and we can create new the GitHub action. We can create any action. We have to just go to the builder action. We can create new action or go to like delete. In the backend part, I can like write your GitHub. I can write any repository and I can change its name.
Got it.
And
Nice.
one main thing is if we are using like I am giving the input of the name. If I do omit user input to yes, then it will not take name and it will like fail, like the no input is given.
Right. Right.
So we have to do that, and we can also like there is another way. If you don't want to use the UI, you can go to edit JSON and you can like do it manually also.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah. So it's just the basic stuff. because I created only one S3 bucket. What we can do that we can create an environment, we can connect it with the S3 bucket, we can connect it with EC2, and when we click on the environment, it will create both of them. So it's like the whole developer environment, and we can create 7 type of thing in it. I have wrote it down, and it's like the multi-cloud environment, cloud environment, TNet environment, microservice catalog, serverless setup, and a lot more.
Right.
So we can create whole. It's just only one component that I have created, and I have created another two. We can link these two also, so that's also possible.
Well, thank you for the demo.
Yes,
Any questions
it's
for Arvin?
amazing.
Alrighty.
Nice, Arvin.
Okay.
Really cool that.
Yeah, thank you, Arvin.
Yeah, only the GitHub action that you have to read. Everything else is pretty easy,
Right.
and it's the alternative of like Backstage. Because in the Backstage we have to like JavaScript code to create the portal, but in the portal is already available for us.
Do you know if it'll run with Jenkins?
Yes.
Well, that'll come
I
in
was taking a
handy.
look at it, too. Like you can create anything with it as long as you can call an API. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
We can create scorecards. We can put like Grafana, Prometheus, JFrog
Yeah,
stuff. We can anything.
Cool.
you could build a remediate button courtesy of Ortelius.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. That may be the way to get
Some clever machine learning right in the background.
exactly.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about that more, but that could be a possible solution.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have posted the like GitHub repo for anyone to like look for the actions. And Sasa have access if anyone want. Like I can give the access to my Dash account. I can add you like, and you all can experiment.
All right. So if anybody needs access, reach out to Arvin on Discord, and he'll get you added so you can play with it. All right, folks, I'm going to end this a little bit early. The fix I made to the workflows didn't we still have an infinite loop I got to go sort out. So I got to go take care of that. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers, everyone.
And we'll talk to everybody soon. And I will, like I said, I will get a mock-up out there for folks to take a look at, and we can go from there.
Cool. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll
Take
see you
care.
later.
Yeah. Bye.